Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air in the West. There has been a plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky. The images coming in now. We have just learned a UPS plane has gone down. A huge plume of smoke visible for miles. The Louisville, Kentucky airport was closed right away. And what authorities revealed late this evening, our reporter standing by tonight. Also breaking, election night in America. What we know so far and what voters say were deciding factors tonight. All eyes on New York City and the race for mayor. Zohran Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo, who was endorsed by President Trump in the final hours. New York City voters tonight electing a new mayor. Voters in the exit polls saying the cost of living was the #1 issue in New York. In New Jersey and Virginia, the races for governor, the majority of voters in both states saying they are dissatisfied or angry with the direction of the country. And tonight we're watching in the West, the key vote in California that could play a major role in next year's midterm elections. What we know again tonight at this hour. The government shutdown, day 35 now, just hours from becoming the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Growing flight delays, chaos at airports, the shortage of air traffic controllers raising safety questions. And tonight here, the new warning, they may have to shut down airspace over parts of the U.S. So tonight, what is President Trump doing? What are Republicans and Democrats doing to get the government back up and running? Tonight, the security scare, a United flight, the evacuation on the tarmac. Air traffic control alerting pilots, ordering the plane to move a safe distance away, and then the evacuation. One of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents in American history, former Vice President Dick Cheney, has died. Jon Karl is here with a look back. The remarkable rescue at sea tonight led by a 12-year-old junior lifeguard. A boat capsizing, 5 people on board, and what that 12-year-old boy did. The collision on the tracks of freight trains slamming into a semi-truck hauling cars. A major museum heist, this time here in the U.S. The surveillance video released tonight, the suspects seen inside and what they got away with. And tonight, James Longman with a stunning look inside the newest archaeological museum in the world. And for the first time ever, King Tut's complete tomb on display, and you'll see it right here.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening on this election night in America as we come on the air in the West. The race for New York City mayor, the key races in New Jersey, Virginia, and the key vote in California. We will get to it all tonight, but we do begin here with the breaking news. There has been a plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky. At this hour, emergency crews are on the scene of a UPS plane crash in Louisville. The images coming in now showing huge plumes of smoke. The FAA tonight says the plane crashed just after takeoff. The Louisville airport was immediately closed. What authorities revealed just a short time ago, and ABC's Matt Rivers leading us off tonight.
Tonight, a massive explosion near Louisville International Airport after UPS Flight 2796 crashed after taking off. Video circulating online and verified by ABC News shows the plane barely off the ground, exploding into a fireball. The crash just before 5:30 local time, officials ordering residents in a 5-mile radius to shelter in place. Teams from our affiliate WHAS on the scene.
There was already a lot of smoke that we were seeing to our left side as we were trying to head toward the scene. I'm going to step out so you can see what we're seeing.
We have virtually every single fire, police, and emergency response group that is responding right now to what you're seeing.
The plane, likely fully loaded with jet fuel, was bound for Honolulu. Preliminary data indicates the plane climbed just 175 feet before crashing. Louisville is the home to UPS Worldport, their global air hub and the heart of its air transportation network.
And David, UPS says there were 3 crew members on board that plane. And tonight, David, you can still see those images coming in of that crash, the plume of smoke, the fire at the Louisville airport. The passenger terminal remains closed at this hour. The FAA and NTSB, David, are investigating.
All right, Matt Rivers leading us off on the breaking news tonight. Matt, thank you. Now to this critical election night in America. All eyes, of course, on the race for mayor in New York City, the governor's races in New Jersey and Virginia, and the vote in California tonight on Prop 50, the proposition on redrawing the congressional map. We begin tonight with the breaking news in New York City, the mayor's race, after voters turned out in big numbers and what they're saying. Here's Aaron Katersky.
Right this way. Tonight in New York, a political earthquake. Voters electing 34-year-old Zohran Mamdani, a self-described democratic socialist, mayor of America's largest city. Mamdani, who will also be New York's first Muslim mayor, running on a platform of affordability. According to preliminary ABC News election poll data, more than half of voters name the cost of living as the top issue facing the city. Nearly three-quarters calling the cost of housing a major problem.
We are on the brink of making history in our city. On the brink of saying goodbye to a politics of the past.
Mr. Cuomo, how are you feeling today?
Feeling great.
His main challenger, former Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Governor, you're going to pull this off today? Yes, we are.
Cuomo warns that Mamdani would, quote, kill the city.
This is going to determine the future of the city of New York. May also determine the future of the Democratic Party.
At the 11th hour, Cuomo, who lost the Democratic primary to Mamdani and ran as an independent, endorsed by President Trump. The president telling New York Republicans the only way to defeat Mamdani is to vote for Cuomo and not the party's nominee, Curtis Sliwa. Mamdani called Cuomo Trump's puppet.
Governor, what's the message to those who think that a vote for you is a vote for Trump? What do you say to those New Yorkers in the closing moments?
Nobody could say that. Nobody could say that who has half a brain. And if there's anyone who can protect New York against President Trump, it's me.
Trump has vowed to withhold federal funds from New York if Mamdani wins. Any last-minute message for New Yorkers who may be concerned that the president will follow through on his threats if you win tonight?
I look forward to representing those New Yorkers and look forward to fighting for every single dollar this city is owed. I will not be intimidated by this president.
In neighboring New Jersey, Republican businessman Jack Ciattarelli is counting on Trump's support to help make him governor.
I'll tell you this, the future of our state hangs in the balance.
But it wasn't his night. ABC News projects Democratic Congresswoman and Navy veteran Mikey Sherrill the winner. Sherrill campaigning on the message that the president's policies are hurting her state. The exit poll showing taxes and the economy as the top issue for New Jersey voters. 2/3 saying they are dissatisfied or angry with the way things are going in the country.
This race has been about affordability, and that's because I speak to thousands and thousands of New Jerseyans sometimes a day.
In Virginia, where exit polls show the economy as the top issue by far, ABC News projects voters have elected the state's first woman governor.
We chose our Commonwealth over chaos.
Former Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger defeating Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. 6 in 10 Virginia voters say they're dissatisfied or angry with the way things are going in the country. In California tonight, a high-stakes ballot initiative asking voters to approve a new congressional map, which could help Democrats win as many as 5 House seats in the midterm elections. California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom championing the measure with support from former President Obama as a response to Republican efforts to redraw congressional maps in Texas, Missouri, Ohio, and North Carolina to boost Republicans. The New York City mayoral race had already broken early voting records, David, and now that the polls have closed across New York City, we can tell you turnout has surpassed 2 million voters. That's the highest for a mayoral election since 1969. David?
Yeah, this will be a fascinating election night ahead and what it could signal for the upcoming midterms next year. Aaron Katersky watching this into the night. Thank you, Aaron. And you can watch our live streaming coverage of election night on ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis. We will also have live reports on the full network as those key results come in tonight. Aaron Katersky and the team, thanks. In the meantime, the government shutdown tonight, day 35, just hours from becoming the longest in U.S. history. Growing flight delays and chaos at the airports, the shortage of air traffic controllers raising safety questions. And tonight, hear the new warning. The Transportation Secretary saying he may have to shut down airspace over parts of the U.S. So what is President Trump doing? What are Republicans and Democrats doing to get this government back up and running? Here's Rachel Scott.
On day 35, the government shutdown is now tied for the longest shutdown in U.S. history, the previous record set during Trump's first term. And tonight, a dire warning. With growing flight delays from the shortage of air traffic controllers, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy now telling Americans parts of the U.S. airspace could be closed if the shutdown drags into next week.
You will see mass chaos, you will see mass flight delays, you'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it.
And tonight, widespread confusion for 42 million low-income Americans who rely on federal food assistance. Just 24 hours after the Trump administration said it would partially pay SNAP benefits to comply with a court order, the president threatening to withhold them, saying in a post that SNAP benefits will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up government, which they can easily do and not before. But hours later, the White House clarifying.
The administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money.
As a mother of 6.
In Minnesota, working mother Brianna Buck-Holton says she relies on SNAP benefits to feed her 6 kids, including 3 foster children. She already missed her rent payment this month.
Is this coming down to whether you're paying your rent or feeding your children?
Right now I have a past due balance of $230 for our gas bill. And obviously gas is something that if it gets cut, we won't have hot water. We won't have the ability to cook this food that I stocked up on in the freezer.
On Capitol Hill, a handful of Democrats and Republicans have started talks about a way to end the shutdown. Today, Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says they are considering all options. But many Democrats say they should continue to fight for what's been their key demand all along, extending health care subsidies so insurance premiums don't skyrocket for more than 20 million Americans. Republicans say they'll work on health care if the government opens, but Democrats don't believe them. President Trump has promised health care plans in the past.
What have we done to endure all of this inconvenience and some pain if we don't accomplish something for the American people?
Rachel Scott asking the tough questions over on the Hill, back at her post at the White House tonight. Rachel, you don't need me to remind you, day 35 here of this government shutdown. And people at home, millions of Americans now feeling the pain from this, and they're going to want to know what's the president doing, what are Democratic leaders, Republican leaders doing to try to get this shutdown over, get the government back up and running.
Well, David, the president has invited Senate Republicans to the White House for breakfast tomorrow, but right now there are no negotiations, no discussions between the president and Senate Democrats. They say that he has gone radio silent. Meanwhile, you heard that dire warning from the transportation secretary there about possibly closing parts of the U.S. airspace. It's those type of travel delays that ultimately ended the last government shutdown, the longest during President Trump's first term, David.
Of course, questions raised over safety of these planes coming in for landing and taking off, Rachel, at the White House again. Thank you. Tonight, the nation remembering one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents in American history. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. His career in politics spanning decades. A commanding presence in the White House after 9/11, advising President Bush and pushing for the U.S. war in Iraq. A lifelong conservative voice who became a vocal critic of President Trump in his late years. Here's our chief Washington correspondent, Jon Karl, tonight.
Flags are at half-mast at the White House and Capitol tonight in honor of former Vice President Dick Cheney, one of the most consequential and polarizing political figures of our time.
They wouldn't call me Darth Vader for nothing.
Tonight he is remembered by the president he served, George W. Bush, for his role in guiding America in the aftermath of the September 11th attacks. President Bush writing, he held to his convictions and prioritized the freedom and security of the American people. Former Presidents Biden and Clinton paid tribute as well. Clinton writing, though we often disagreed, I always respected his dedication to our country and his unwavering sense of duty. Richard Bruce Cheney was born in Nebraska in 1941, where he was captain of his high school football team, and Lynn, his girlfriend and later wife of more than 6 decades, was the homecoming queen. They had 2 daughters, Mary and Liz. He became President Ford's chief of staff at just 34 years old, the youngest ever. He served 5 terms in Congress, and then as Secretary of Defense for President George H.W. Bush, successfully leading the Pentagon during the first Iraq War. A decade later, he agreed to help George W. Bush find a running mate. He would narrow his short list to one, Dick Cheney himself.
He is without a doubt fully capable of being the President of the United States.
He became the most influential vice president in American history. On 9/11, with President Bush traveling, it was Cheney, from a bunker below the White House, who ordered the military to shoot down any unresponsive aircraft. He was the architect of America's war on terror, making the case for the 2003 invasion of Iraq, arguing that Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction.
There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use against our friends, against our allies, and against us.
Cheney defended the war even after it was later revealed there were no weapons of mass destruction. And he defended the use of harsh tactics, including waterboarding, which many regarded as torture.
I was a big supporter of waterboarding. I was a big supporter of the enhanced interrogation techniques.
In 2021, Cheney sharply criticized President Trump's actions on and before January 6th.
There has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump.
And in 2024, the lifelong Republican endorsed Democrat Vice President Kamala Harris, saying Trump should never be trusted with power again.
How is Dick Cheney going to be remembered?
I saw a lot of history, was there when a lot of it was made. I'm very comfortable with what I did and why I did it and how I did it, and I'll let others judge whether they liked it or not.
Do you have any regrets?
Not really.
Classic Dick Cheney, few words and no apparent self-doubt. And as of this moment, David, still no statement whatsoever from President Trump about the passing of Dick Cheney.
And that was one of the last interviews. Still fascinating, no regrets, and he'll let history judge. Yep. Jon Karl tonight, thank you. To other news here this evening, the security scare on the tarmac at Reagan National Airport, a United flight from Houston to Washington, air traffic control alerting pilots about a possible threat. The jet ordered to move a safe distance away. The FBI and other emergency services surrounding the plane. Passengers evacuated. No threat was found. A lot more news ahead tonight. When we come back, James Longman takes us through the newest, biggest archaeological museum in the world. For the first time ever, King Tut's complete tomb on display, and you'll see it. The other news, the remarkable rescue at sea, a 12-year-old junior lifeguard coming to the rescue. A boat capsizing, 5 people on board, and what that 12-year-old boy did. And then the images tonight, the collision on the tracks, a freight train slamming into a semi-truck hauling cars. We'll have more on this here in a moment. Tonight, the remarkable rescue at sea led by a 12-year-old junior lifeguard, a boat capsizing, 5 people on board, the junior lifeguard on his parents' fishing boat at the time, flagging down a jet ski and instructing the operator to bring the victims to his boat. He then performed first aid and gave clothes to shivering victims. Everyone survived. That's just incredible. When we come back, there's been another heist at a museum, this time in the U.S. You'll see the surveillance, also the collision on the tracks, a freight train slamming into a semi-truck hauling cars. And for the first time, James Longman showing us King Tut's complete tomb, the new museum in the shadow of the pyramids. And James is standing by in a moment here. To the index of other news tonight, the collision on the tracks, a freight train slamming into a semi-truck hauling cars northeast of San Antonio, Texas. The train smashing into the truck stuck on the tracks. The impact pushing the truck about 50 yards. No one was hurt. There is new surveillance released tonight after a museum heist here in the U.S. this time in Oakland, California. Authorities say the video shows 2 men who they say stole 1,000 items, including valuable Native American artifacts. When we come back here tonight, James Longman with a stunning look inside the newest archaeological museum in the world. For the first time, King Tut's complete tomb on display. And you'll see it right here. Finally tonight here, James Longman with a stunning look inside the newest archaeological museum in the world, right there in the shadow of the pyramids.
Tonight, the wonders of ancient Egypt reborn for the modern world. The Grand Egyptian Museum, finally complete, decades in the making. It's the world's largest archaeological museum, some 100,000 artifacts, celebrating 7,000 years of ancient civilization. And its crowning glory only now revealed, the golden treasures of King Tutankhamun, Egypt's most famous pharaoh. 103 years to the day since his tomb was discovered, all 5,000 artifacts found alongside his mummified body are now on public display for the very first time, and we were some of the first to see. Among them, King Tut's funeral mask.
This is what millions of people will come to see, one of the most important and recognizable artifacts in all of human history.
The exhibit, a journey from mummification to the extraordinary treasures sent to accompany the boy king to the afterlife.
Now, this is something I was really excited to see. These are King Tutankhamun's sarcophagi, made of solid gold. Take a look at how perfectly preserved they are.
Each of these placed inside the other by the ancient Egyptians. In the center, King Tut rested for thousands of years. And this remarkable feat of preservation and restoration, the solar boat, over 4,500 years old.
The ancients believed that this boat would transport them to the afterlife. It was actually commissioned by the pharaoh Khufu, who built the pyramids.
Just one of thousands of stories to be discovered for this spectacular journey through time.
And David, this new museum sits right alongside Egypt's pyramids, a new modern wonder of the world.
waiting for millions more visitors. David?
James Longman tonight. James, thank you for the extraordinary tour through that new museum in Egypt. I'm David Muir. Thank you for watching at home, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow night. The latest on the election tomorrow on GMA. Good night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the third year in a row.